Okay, try that again. Alright, this is for the YouTube Pagan Challenge. Just try to get this done this time. Alright, there's enough light over here. Yay. And focus. Alright, this is for the first week, question 1. It's how did you find your path? I think that's kind of a complicated question to start out with, but I would probably say that my path, my current path started probably about 4 years ago, but my actual whole spiritual path started when I was really little, of course. My mother, being Christian, she had us all going to church and doing all those activities, and I didn't really understand a lot of it. I had a lot of questions, kept asking them far after all the people that I was going to church with stopped asking questions, all the kids my age, and yet it wasn't enough for me. I always had more. I wanted to know why. I wanted to know what that had, I didn't want to just take things on faith. I wanted to actually to understand more, and I guess it never stopped. I always had more, I guess that's a first start. And with my mother was actually kind of nice about stuff, because I've heard stuff about others whose family wasn't so open with other things. Like my mom believes in reincarnation, so some stuff wasn't a big deal for her to understand the questions that I had, because she didn't follow exactly what the church was saying anyway. And my cat is playing at my feet. Sorry. So I guess that's where it began, and my family being able to see auras and ghosts, and I'm not the only one in my family who can do that. So it just, there's things that never really were explained with that particular religion that I was following. And with my cultural heritage, when we moved at the age of, I was 13 when we made the big move to another state, and I finally wasn't the only child there that had Native American heritage, and before being just raised by my mother, who is Swedish American. So I know about that. I have all those kind of understanding of my mom's background and where I fit in that. But when I moved, and all of a sudden there was others that I could relate to and understand and start to learn about my other cultural heritage from my father's side, which I never got to learn growing up. It was an eye-opening experience. So I learned a lot of the culture, the heritage, not just one aspect, but multiple parts, from spiritual rituals to just the language. Though I don't know a whole lot now in my adult life of people who actually speak, so I kind of lost a lot of the language. I picked it up for a while, but then started to lose it because it wasn't a relevant issue in my life. So I guess it's one of those things you use or lose. But as I was here, I met another friend she was Catholic at the time that we met, but she broke out of the box and started following Wicca, and that just opened my eyes to another realm too, and things just kept changing, growing, and I guess it just always kept evolving during every aspect of my life. Going off to college, being on my own, starting to find answers to questions that nobody could answer before. Like, just the difference between religion and spirituality. Being able to feel spiritually connected. I found that, I could find that standing out in the woods, but I couldn't find that sitting in church. So it grew organically, I guess, and things took a major turn, because at that time I wasn't worshiping the god and goddess. It was more of a just earth-based spirituality at that time. And when my best friend that I mentioned, she passed away, that was when another huge turning point in my life. And she had, before that, a couple of years before that, had talked to me about her wishes if this was to happen. And she wasn't sick, but she was taking a lot of medication due to some... Yes, kitty. Shh. I'm sorry. She does this when I'm on the phone, too. But yeah, so she had talked to me about her wishes, and since her family was Catholic, she didn't really trust them to honor some of her final wishes. So I did some of the rituals that we had talked about a couple of years earlier, because I immediately agreed to whatever when we were talking about it before, thinking that, yeah, when we're in our 80s, but she went to her medicine cabinet, pulled out all the medication that she was taking. She had bipolar disorder and some other issues, and she pulled up all of her medication, and she just set this huge box of pills in front of me and said, shit happens. And unfortunately, shit did happen. So, yeah, so after honoring her wishes, getting a bit more into what she was doing, I realized that it really felt right. It felt like a path that I needed to explore. So I started to be more in touch with the moon and the goddess, and learning about the gods and goddesses that she was worshiping at the time that she departed. But since then, I've been expanding on my own and learning more and more about things that just click with me, and picking up books here and there, and talking to people who online, or there's not a lot of pagans around here, at least not out of the closet. So been trying to see what I can find. And I guess that is just where it's been at this point in my life. It's just a constant change and growing and understanding, and just finding myself in a reflection of my spirituality. So it's just been a journey, and I guess that's about it. I'm sure that's more complicated than that, but I don't want a really long video, and honestly, I don't want to bore you too much, because I'm sure most paths are just unique and aspects of each other's lives and what you've experienced and how you react to the ways that things have been presented in your life. And mine has just led me down this path, and it works for me, and it's finally led me to the answers that I was seeking as a child. And I guess that's it, and I guess I'll see you next week. Blessed be.